I'm not sure if I should make this video, but I'm gonna speak from the heart. Let's get into it. I personally love talking about buying raw land. It's pretty obvious that I do. I have a lot of different opinions about it, but at the end of the day, I think it is a great thing that pretty much everyone can do. There's not a lot of people out there that I think it isn't a good investment for them to buy raw land in some capacity, because there's so many things that you can get out of it. One of the largest complaints that I keep receiving, and I say the word complaint exactly meaning that, people are complaining. One of the largest ones that I keep hearing is, it is so hard to buy raw land. With that, I say, no, it is not. You are making it hard. And we're gonna talk about that. So let's first talk about the elephant in the room. Money is real, all right? And I understand not everyone may be in a financial position where they can buy, $30,000 worth of land, $80,000 worth of land. I get that. Me personally, I did not grow up with a silver spoon. I grew up barely middle class, but that's a different conversation. But my entire life, I always knew that I wanted to buy raw land and I wanted to build a little cabin, especially once I started getting into the workforce. They were working me to the bone and I said, I need a place to relax. So I did what most people do. I went online, I started looking for land and speaking with real estate agents and was blown away by the price of just a raw piece of land. Like, what the hell is going on? Why is it $80,000 for 1 to 2 acres? So I want to say I completely understand all of that, but it's hogwash. Because I was doing what most people always do. You want to buy raw land next door. You want to buy raw land 30 minutes from your house. You most likely do not live in an area where you can procure raw land at a reasonable rate. If you're anywhere in a residential area, a major city, anything along those lines, raw land is not going to be available at an easy price point. Because the raw land in that region is strictly investment land and is strictly for people to purchase and build shopping centers or build homes. Side note, a lot of that land isn't even zoned correctly for you to build a cabin, to homestead, to put a tiny house on. They want you to build a shopping mall. They want capitalism. But again, that's for another day. So most people say to themselves, see, the rich are getting richer. I'm over this. I hate everything and whatever. But that's just not the case. You need to be looking where raw land is available. At the end of the day, if you want to buy a car, do you immediately go to Mercedes.com, spec out the best car that you can't afford, and then get mad that you can't afford it? No, you live within your means. You get what you want and what you need, and you're happy with that. So why aren't people doing that with raw land? After I was, shocked at the sticker price of raw land, I decided, okay, well, what is the right way to go about this? Because I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to let something just stop me. So I started to look for discount prices and, prices that made sense to me. So like I've said in the video in the corner, I actually ended up buying 3 acres of raw land in upstate New York for $15,000. Now again, I understand that we all are in different places, but to me, $15,000 was not a crazy price point for raw land. Raw land isn't going to be the price of a 2-liter of Coke. So it's going to be up there in price, in the thousands. But at the end of the day, I felt for 3 acres of land that was close to a lot of, I don't want to kind of dox myself, but 3 acres of land close to different schools, close to different, how can I say this without, again, giving the location of my land away, but close to different tourist destinations and breweries, etc. I think I got a great price. Now, is it 10 minutes away from those things? No, it's about 30 minutes away from all of the destinations that are in that area of upstate New York. So, am I super happy with it? Yeah, I actually am. I don't think a 30-minute drive is that crazy. And if I were to get 20 minutes closer, right now I'm 30 minutes away. If I were to get 20 minutes away, the price of my land would have skyrocketed. So that's what I'm talking about, people. Stop complaining and start figuring out how to make things work for you. Another complaint that I always hear about buying raw land is there's not a lot of information out there. And that is 100% true. That is the whole reason why I created my channel. I don't think there's a lot of information about people building glamping businesses on top of raw land. I don't think there's a lot of information on how to buy raw land correctly. I don't think there's a lot of information on how a regular person like you and me, not some bigwig investor, not some multimillionaire who's, having some fun with glamping businesses and all of that type of stuff, but just regular people who work 9 to 5s or maybe just left their 9 to 5 and are trying to make something happen. There's not a lot of information for us how to realistically do it. So I won't fault you for thinking that or coming to that realization. I will fault you if you complain and then stop and say, you know what, it's too hard. What you need to do is work hard. If it was easy, everyone would be owning raw land. Everyone would be real estate investors. It is hard. I do have to admit that. But you can watch, deep dive on my videos. There's a lot of other YouTubers out there. There's a lot of information if you're willing to read really weird blogs. Like I do have to admit, the information out there is sparse for regular people. And a lot of the information comes from people with secondary motives. I was reading a lot of blogs from real estate companies who were happy enough to sell me the raw land that they had. But they would have these, little write-ups. And I do have to admit, a lot of those are fluff pieces just to get you onto their website and you to give them their information, and they'll reach out to you and try to sell you some raw land. That is true. But if you aren't smart enough to kind of weed through those types of things, then I don't know what to tell you. I don't think you should be buying raw land in the first place. Maybe it isn't for everybody. But that being said, you can go out there, you can do your research, you can ask people, you can learn from people, really put yourself out there. There's a lot of different Facebook groups for people who are homesteading, people who are living off grid. Maybe join some of those Facebook groups. They'll be more than happy to, chat with you and ask around. Leave some comments down below. I try to, respond to as many of them as I possibly can. And I would love it if other people who are watching my channel responded to those comments too. I'm really trying to build a community of people who can kind of help each other learn from all of this. So yes, it is hard to find information, but it isn't that difficult. Another complaint that I hear is that, the people that are in the area or in that town, they're not like me. I'm a city person. Maybe I don't want to buy raw land, in West Bumble, whatever, just because, there's no mall, there's no Walmart, there's no this, there's no that. Well, yeah, people, that's what raw land is, okay? Most raw land is pretty rural. And if you're not willing to kind of, subscribe to that type of lifestyle, then, maybe culturally and from a community standpoint, it isn't a good fit for you. That being said, give it a try. I am a Haitian American black man living in America. I live in New York City. I grew up in this area, but I am constantly in upstate New York. And not like the cool hip parts of upstate New York, but like, real rural upstate New York. My neighbors are farmers. They are so nice. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. Keep your blinders up. Be aware of your surrounding and look deeper in at the type of people that are there. But what I did was before I bought my land, I stayed at a local hotel in that region just so I can, in the town that I was exactly going to buy the land in, so I can get a better sense of the community. I also went to all of the local bars and just sat down at the bar, like not at a table, right there at the bar, and just talked to everyone in the room. If I was going to get some, animosity, if there was going to be any static, any friction, any motion, it was going to come out then and there, and I would know not to buy the land in that town. But, as I started talking to people, it was so nice. I actually struck up a conversation with this old man. I think he had about 4 teeth. And I'm not making this up. I'm not trying to typecast. He honestly had 4 teeth. So I'm not going to lie to you. I actually started having this conversation with him. He has been living off grid for like 20 years. And he was giving me a ton of tips and advice on how to live off grid. I bought him a beer. We chatted. We spoke. I've never seen him since. I've never talked to him since. But I really took that as a sign. Like maybe this community isn't what I think it to be. So especially for the city folks out there, I'm talking to you guys. It isn't what you think it to be. You've watched a lot of movies and you have an idea of what rural communities are like, and you're probably a little off. Lastly, and I just want to be honest, it's your mindset. People just like to complain. People like to be victims. I don't want to go into one of those rants. We all know how the world is these days, but it's just bullshit. Like, figure it out. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps and make it work. You can take your time and buy the land over time. You can, come to a conclusion, come to a vision, and work towards your goal. For the last 4 years, every December, I make a vision board for the next year with all of the goals that I would like to achieve. I don't achieve all of them. I achieve about maybe 80% of them. But I know that by putting them down, by writing them down, by making a vision board, I print it out, I put it right on my fridge, I know that the little things that I do on the day-to-day will work towards my long-term goals. I'm not going to be one of those people that say, if you skip that latte or don't buy that avocado toast. We all know that that's not the real reason why we can't afford certain things. But at the end of the day, if you work hard and you have this singular goal, you can purchase raw land. Will it be right next to the mall in the downtown region of your city? No, it absolutely won't be, but it's possible. I don't care if you're black, brown, white, Latino, Asian, anything. It absolutely is possible if you stop complaining. I'm gonna drop the trigger warning now because also this video is gonna be that tough love from a brother. And I really hope you find it motivational rather than me tearing you down. Because at the end of the day, buying raw land is possible for anybody. If you have that vision and you have that goal of buying raw land to maybe, kind of live off grid, to start farming, to get some pigs, to, just enjoy that cabin life, you 100% can do it. If you change your mentality, that's it.